My earnest pranams to the enlightened senior officers and warm greetings to this brimming firmament of young officer trainees and all the senior colleagues who have joined here for this valedictory function. A warm welcome to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, today, thank you. We are very fortunate to have this valedictory session is studded with the idealistic icons of administrative accomplishment. The officers like Shri K. Srinivas, Director LVSNA, along with our Director General Shri Harpreet Singh IAS, Special Chief Secretary to Government of Telangana, and our Additional Director General Shri Benhar Mahesh Tekka, Principal Secretary to Government of Telangana, and Srimati Anita Rajendran, our Joint Director General. Welcome you all and welcome all other senior colleagues also here. Ladies and gentlemen, the 15 weeks of assiduous efforts and the sizzling enterprise of all the officer trainees is captured in 5 minutes video. Let's all watch the vignettes of Foundation Course 2022. was not being pompous when I said that it was a sizzling enterprise. Really, it was. Now, it's the mark of our cultural discipline to show our veneration to our beloved Director General Shri Harpreet Singh IAS, Special Chief Secretary to Government of Telangana, head of our family by passion, and the Director General of MCRHRD by profession. Sir, we experience that you stand for exquisite care and enlightening guidance for all the young and future civil servants of this country. May I now request our beloved Director General to please come on to the dais and occupy the much coveted chair. Ladies and gentlemen, a befitting testimony of a patriotic Telugu couplet by Shri Rayaprol Subbarao. ఏ దేశమెగినా ఎందుకు అలిడినా ఏ పీఠమెక్కినా ఎవరెదురైనా పొగడరా నీ తల్లి భూమి భారతిని నిలుపరా నీ జాతి నిండు గౌరవము which means in whichever country you set your feet, whatever position you hold and whoever you may encounter, sing the glory of your mother and land Bharati and uphold the honor of your people. Is none other than the signature of the day's function, Shri K. Srinivas IAS, the Director, LBSNA. Sir, may I request you to please, and I request our beloved DG Sir to welcome our chief guest by presenting his sapling. Now, and another endearing personality with sublime work culture, who endeavors relentlessly with his administrative alacrity for the success of this institute, is none other than our beloved Additional Director General, Shri Banher Mahesh Tekka. So may I request you to please come into the dais. With all humility, may I now welcome Srimati Anita Rajendra, Joint Director General, whose presence is vindicating that excellence is simply beautiful. Now may I request you to please come on to the dais. And now I request our beloved Srimati Divya Parma, Course Director, whose untiring efforts resulted in fruition. Lighting of the lamp is ceremonial insignia to invoke the divine blessings and to commence any program. May I now request all the dignitaries to please light the lamp and have the good beginning for this program. Now, ladies and gentlemen, holding a master's degree in political science from University of Delhi, our Additional Director General Shri Banher Mahesh Tekka joined IAS in 1995. Sir's rich experience is an added asset to conduct various training programs in our training institute successfully. Sir is a silent soldier and task bearer for every program we conduct in our institute. Now, sir, may I request you to please welcome the chief guest and all the audiences today.
Respected chief guest, Sri Srinivas R. Karthiketala, IAS, and Director Lal Bahadur Shastri, National Academy of Administration. Our DG, Sri Harpreet Singh, my colleague, Mrs. Anita, Course Director, Mrs. Divya, faculty members of the Institute, and all the officer trainees, a very warm welcome to all of you. Warm welcome. Climate is also quite warm outside. Formally, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome Sri Srinivas sir for this valedictory function of our institute. On behalf of each one of us. We also thank our chief guest for putting his trust on us and giving us this valuable training program. We all started this foundation course journey on 17th January 2022, and it is getting formally concluded today with this valedictory session. This special foundation course was interspersed with academic inputs, physical training, village visit, and trekking. We are sure that all these activities have built up your mental, physical, and spiritual stamina, which will keep all of you in good stead in the coming days. The entire foundation course, special foundation course batch consisted of 212 officer trainees, and the breakup was 185 male officers, 27 female officers, and it comprised of different services, from IPS to IIS to all other services. I tried to copy from your play Swamvar of Services. In fact, it gives lot of confidence to us when we say all the officer trainees you represent as of now 30 states of this country, great country. And for us today, all of you here represent mini India, but I would like to add here that when you go out from here, you are the new India, you are the future India. The entire training program was for 15 weeks, which you have completed successfully. I would like to dwell on few things, which is, I feel, meaningful for all of you. Our Vice President, Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji, has addressed all of you on Civil Services Day and gave practical advice regarding commitment to our Constitution and one's own concerns and improving the service delivery system. He also dwelt upon preserving local language, culture, food, as these are our rich heritage. I would also like to recollect here the advice and guidance of our chief guest on the day of inaugural session, when he has stressed upon neutrality of bureaucrats for proper delivery of government schemes and programs and becoming a karma yogi in your professional field. And this karma yogi thing comes only when you keep yourself abreast with time and develop your skills. The officer trainees were also encouraged to take part in various co-curricular activities and various club activities, which has opened them to grow up as a good human being. As all of us agree here, apart from giving all the regular academic inputs, the way all of you have performed in sports or culture day or other extracurricular activities, it was really heartening. And special mention I would like to make with regard to one act play, A.K. Sinha Memorial Play, where all of you, because I witnessed your program on that day, and the way you have put up your imagination on display, and the way you have carried forward your roles of the character, it was very, very, I would say, of high standard. Finally, we have come towards the end of the journey, and we all have a firm belief that all of you, whatever you have learned in this training, you have learned it well and you have honed and sharpened your skills. They will surely bring good name to your service while you are in the field. Once again, I welcome all of you for this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for welcoming all the audiences while reminiscing the advice of the chief guest at the inaugural and referring to all the activities that have been conducted during the FC. Thanks again to you. Now, it's time for the course director to give the course report. We have already witnessed NAV on this. Now, oral account of course brief by the course director.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Chief Guest, Srinivas Sir, DG Sir, ADG Sir, JDG Madam, and all our colleagues and the officer trainees here. Welcome to the valedictory of our 3.5-month-old Special Foundation course 2022. The FC commenced after much apprehension regarding the third COVID wave on the 19th of January 2022. We started with the mandatory COVID test and 2 weeks of isolation and online classes for the officer trainees. As mentioned before, out of the total 212 OTs, 71 belong to the Indian Police Service, 41 to the IFS, and the rest to various other central civil services. We had an initial challenge, as mentioned, of many OTs testing positive for COVID. However, after 2 weeks, almost all had recovered and we could move on to classes in physical mode. Along with academic sessions, February was filled with the cultural program Tarang, diligently done by the Film and Fine Arts Society, rock climbing by the Nature Lovers and Adventure Sports Club, and the month ended with the grand culmination of the sports extravaganza Khelotsav. Once again, brilliantly executed by our officers and the Officers Club. A special mention of the clubs and societies here, sir. The secretaries have really worked hard to mobilize all the officers to take part in the various activities. Thus we sailed through to March, which was hectic with the village visit and the various assignments and academic submissions. Since we have had concurrent evaluation for the course, the village visit experience was then shared by the OTs, a new perspective for many among them. April was much anticipated for the awaited Himalayan trek. Thank you, sir, for giving our officers this opportunity and arranging the trek seamlessly for them, sir. Special thanks to Abhiram sir, Ramachandra sir here, who took on the entire responsibility of the trek from day one till the officers started back from Lavasna. It was a unique testing yet enjoyable experience for all of them. It is said that the bonds made during the foundation course especially during the trek and village visits, are bonds for a lifetime. I am sure that all the officer trainees have developed strong bonds of friendship and fellow officer trainees with other services, and that you would endure the bond of kinship right up to the end of your professional career and beyond. The various hidden talents of many of the officers also came forward in the form of photography, authorship, and various arts and crafts, not to mention the culinary skills during the fete, where we enjoyed various exemplary dishes from across India. We were fortunate once again to have the Vice President grace the Institute on the occasion of Civil Services Day, giving an opportunity to many of the officer trainees to receive various awards from him. As we come to the end of the course, thankfully without any COVID mishap to disturb us in its midst, I congratulate each and every one of you for the successful completion of the foundation course. Special thanks to our Director General who has guided us throughout, course team, the FC Secretariat and the facilities for their tireless efforts throughout the 3.5-month period. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya, for that lucid brief on the course. Now it's time for, as we all know that foundation course is a distinct endeavor of different activities, and a commendable job is done by the Howgenal Society, and they have brought in a journal called as In-House, and which is a tapestry of both poems and proses and other contributions by the officer trainees. Now may I request the Howgenal Society Secretary, members and the DG's nominee for having the inaugural of the Howgenal. Even at the time when 1 week still to go, the Howgenal's efforts have resulted into fruition, and this will be a memoir which you will be carrying, throughout your career. Thank you so much for Howgenal Society. You all concur with me when I say that our Director General is a compassionate comrade and caring guru. And sir, we are fortunate to have you here as a DG for this foundation course. And because of your guidance only, we were able to conduct this during the difficult times also. May I now request you to address the OTs on this valedictory session, sir.
Shri K. Srinivas, Director Labasna, Chief Guest of today's program. My colleagues on the dais, my colleagues off the dais, and the officer trainees. Today is the culmination of a 15-week foundation course. This is the third special foundation course. This is organized. Special foundation course consists of people who are working, have completed their professional training, many of them, and who have to come back for doing their foundation course. It is always a challenge to do a special foundation course for people who have completed their professional training and who are occupying positions in the district. There is no doubt about their competence, sir. They have worked hard. They have got selected through a tough competitive examination. They are occupying positions of authority. Coming as a student and doing a foundation course, which is the first entry course, is difficult for them because they are learned. They occupy positions of authority. They know what is power, and they are the power. I remember, sir, you asked me, how many people are there? And why are so many chairs empty, sir? Respect is something which is not there with everyone. They don't need to attend classes, sir. They know everything. And that is why they feel they can come here at their sweet time and not attend the function when the chief guest has come to conduct the valedictory function. They are not egoistic, they are not arrogant, they are realistic. They know that they are the power. It is my duty as a trainer to keep the mirror in front of them. I'll fail my duty if I do not tell them who they are, how they are behaving. Yes, they are competent. There's no doubt they are competent. They know how to do their jobs. But certainly, respect is not their strong point. I am not accustomed to behave like a court martial general, going to their rooms, checking their behavior. They're all adults. And adults have to be treated like adults. They have to pay penalty if they do wrong. There cannot be two words about it. But they don't like penalty, sir. They want power, but they are beyond law. They hate the word penalty, but they want to be irresponsible because they think irresponsibility is their birthright. They are occupying positions of authority. They forget that in positions of authority they need to be more obedient, more careful about the rules. No license is given to breaking the rules if you are occupying positions of authority. But they feel the ones who are absent, there are very good people, sir, amongst them who have been very regular, attendant, obedient, have been attending classes regularly, participating in all activities. There are some who are difficult, sir. And this is the characteristic of a special FC. They would like to dominate us. They would like to dominate people in power because that is what they only know, to dominate. Sir, you will very well remember in the 94th FC, which was conducted, how we were treated. That was a regular batch, sir. The batch who's just joining, who are interested in learning. This is a new batch, Special FC. It's a challenge. Special FC is always a challenge. They would like to be left alone, to be allowed to do whatever they wish to do, and to be given the course completion certificates and gone away. Even they would like the Special FC to be completed in 1 week or 2 weeks, and they should be sent back. So my request, and I think many of them would like this, that they would not like a Special FC. Let it be a 3-week program so that these accomplished officers can get the stamp which is left out and go back to do their job and duty and show their capability in the districts. I hate to point out, this is not the way I would have liked to talk about them. Definitely, this is not the way I wanted to think about them. But if they want to behave in a particular manner and persist in behaving in a particular manner, then it is my duty to tell a senior officer who they are, what they are, and to tell them that they don't need the special FC. They don't want the special FC, they want it to be cleared. They would like their probation to be cleared without any hurdle, so that they're already in the job, they know everything. They don't need any additional knowledge. At least so much I can communicate to you on their behalf. Let us end that farce where you like to show that you are learning but don't want to learn. Disrespect the teachers who try to teach you. Disrespect the guests who are coming to address you. That's all I would like to tell you. It's with a very heavy heart. People say I'm a compassionate person, and I am really compassionate. But sir, discipline is very, very important. Without discipline, the society gets affected. And that is why I have to do my duty, and I have brought it to your attention. Sir, I leave it to you. I wish you all the best in your career, and I hope you will become better. If not, life is there to teach you how to become better. Don't think you will be able to escape your deserts of your action. So it is in your advice, in your betterment, that you turn out to be better individuals, better officers, more humble, more respectful, and more dedicated to learning. Thank you very much.
Hope all of you understand the anguish shown by our DG. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that with the chief guest. Now, it's my honored privilege to introduce the chief guest for today's function, Shri K. Srinivas. I just will read out sir's credentials for your understanding. A senior administrative service officer of 1989 batch of Gujarat cadre, is an illustrious son of an illustrious father, Honorable Justice Shri K. Ramaswamy, former Supreme Court judge, hailed as the champion of social justice and human rights, reflecting in many historical cases. Sir is an avid seeker of knowledge, mastered multiple disciplines like law, environmental economics, international development, public policy, economics, social development, and glorified his parental institutions like Kakatiya University, University of Hyderabad, University of Virginia, Duke University, and Cambridge Judge Business School with academic brilliance. Sir is hailed as one of the chief architects of the modern and vibrant Gujarat. Sir's judicious application of theoretical insights into practical domain for public cause earned him enormous recognition. As Additional Secretary to CM, Sir created Change and Innovation Management Unit called the Parivartan Cell, and as Managing Director, Sir successfully operated mega projects like GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech, and rebuilt 14 cities in 3 years ravaged due to Bhuj earthquake in 2001. A reflection of the pride of Gujarat, 182-meter, the Statue of Liberty of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel carved a niche in the history of Indian national monuments and credited the career of Member Secretary Shri K. Srinivas with deep recognition as perseverant bureaucrat. A trained lawyer himself with abiding interest in laws and legislation, Sir has piloted a score of path-breaking legislations at a state and federal levels. Sir has, to his credit, the significant overhaul of the Land Revenue Code of Gujarat, which ran into 110 years, which was done after 110 years, and the Gujarat Lokayukta Act, and assisted the overhaul of the Prevention of Corruption Act, and also authored a book, History of Land Revenue Administration in Gujarat, and published several papers also. Sir is deeply involved in Indian classical classical music and fine arts, and is a Sishya of late Pandit Gajendra Bakshi, and who is a doyen of American Gaiki. Sir has abiding interest in architecture, photography, ethnography, comparative religions, and understanding global cultures through travel. Sir had served as secretary of the Kirti Mandir Porbandar, the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, and is an ardent believer in Gandhian philosophy. Sir, it is our good fortune that we have here today amidst for this valedictory. I request you to share the knowledge and experience with the young officer trainees over here.
Director General of MCR Institute, Harpreet Singh Ji, Post Director Divya Ji, Mr. Benhareka, Mrs. Anita Rajendra, all my dear friends from the faculty, from Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, my young friends from the Special Foundation course. Before I speak, I should confess, I have not thought of what to tell you really. So therefore, maybe we should have some ground rules. For the next 10 minutes, I'll request you all to switch off your mobiles. It will give you an extra break. Put them all inside so we will talk. Because I notice, yeah, it's a very, modern technology is very, very intrusive. And one of the first things we did in Mussoorie, when we did the last foundation, was that Mussoorie became a mobile-free campus. In no class, technology was allowed without explicit permission, certainly no mobiles. Are we mobile-free? Great, but I might get a call, so I'm waiting for a call. I was really wondering, what should I be talking to you? We just heard your faculty, the learned Director General, Additional Director General and everybody talk of how foundation course coming at a certain stage in life may be relevant and may not be relevant. Right? That's another thing that we did. Can you shut down that door, please? No more inside, no entries, no exits. Darwaza band kariye. Yeah, thanks. Only 10 minutes, I will not take more time. I asked my dear friend Harpreet Singh Ji, what should I be telling all these young officers? He said, as young officers, please tell them how to succeed in their careers. And I started mulling over it. I started thinking to myself, is it only careers we should succeed in, or is it life we should succeed in? I think the first thing we should all understand when we join public service, public life, is that the best part of our lives we spend in offices. So if you want to lead a good life, you also need to have a good balance between your career and your life and understand how well you can contribute. What gives you satisfaction? What gives you purpose? What will really feed your soul? How will what you do? Because you'll realize, and most of you have already worked, so I know that you know how the field conditions exist. Some of you are not so senior. You're barely 1 year, 1.5 years into services, so you've not really worked. But those who have worked will understand that work sometimes starts early in the morning, maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, goes on till around 7:30, 8, 9. And there is a certain cycle. When you go back home, you'll realize you have spent the best part of your day away from your family. So your work, people in the workplace tend to become your family. So how do you deal with them? How do you interact with them? It's a very important part of that life. Second itself is, how will you be relevant? How will you succeed? How will you contribute? What will give you satisfaction? I was trying to connect to what Sri Harpreet Singh Ji just said, and I was really trying to connect to my recent experience with the conduct of the mid-career training program, the common MCTP. We did it last October for the first time ever in this country. And all the officers who came were joint secretary level with at least 20 years of experience. They were not people with 1 year experience, 2 years experience. They were officers with 20 years of experience who have seen all the vicissitudes of life, who have seen lots of ups and lows. And when they came for that, they all went back into your stage of current career or of your mind. It was amazing to see that nearly 250, it was 256 joint secretary level officers who transformed into absolutely wonderful learners. I would think and I would suggest to you that if at all there is anything that you can take away from these 10 minutes, one, learn to be a lifelong learner. Because life is all about learning. Life is all about how you keep on absorbing, and as you go forward, you will find in your life, in your career, the way society is evolving, way technologies are evolving, way institutions are adapting, way government is transforming. Change will be not only normal, it will be exponential. It is unimaginable, and this is what I've been telling all your friends in Masuri, that be prepared for change. Do not let change surprise you. Learn how to adapt. Learn to be prepared. Anticipate. Just now, Mr. Harpreet Singh mentioned the 94th FC, where we conducted a very unique program. It was called the Arambh. Now we just completed the 3rd iteration. The 4th iteration will happen this year. So Arambh 1.0, and you'll see that big photograph where the Honorable Prime Minister also graced it, was about understanding the challenge of the exponential. It was about understanding future. It was about understanding how to be ready for the future. What does the future hold for us? What are the challenges? And I remember at that time, we engaged very deeply with 2 institutions. One institution is called the Singularity University. It is out of California. It's available on the YouTube. I would strongly urge all of you. There is still somebody on mobile phone. Kindly put it away. 10 minutes won't make a difference to your life. When you go outside, please check up. Go and Google there. Look for Singularity University. And there is a gentleman there, set it up, called Peter Diamandis. You may have heard of Peter Diamandis. He speaks along with a lot of others on how exponential technologies, how institutions, how adaptations are happening. We tried to bring Peter Diamandis to Kevadia. We didn't have enough time, and also we realized it was quite expensive. He was charging almost $300,000 or $400,000 for the 1 hour lecture. That's the kind of money they make. But you'll get it free. Go on to YouTube, hear what he has to say. What I'm trying to tell you is, it will give you an insight into how the world is changing, what you will be dealing with. No matter what service you are in, no matter what field you are in, no matter what kind of work that will be delivering, there will be rapid changes. What you will be doing now in this year, you may not be doing 5 years later, you will certainly not be doing at the end of your career. It's going to happen. So all of you, I would strongly urge, keep your minds open, learn to adapt, because if you do not adapt, you know that is how species become extinct. Some of us will also become extinct, some of our services will become extinct. Maybe bureaucracy itself will undergo a fundamental transformation, which is a good thing. All that I am saying is, all of us as an instinct of self-survival should learn to be good and adaptive, and you can adapt only by learning. That is one, lifelong learning. Second, I have always thought, what is it, and I do remember when I had the honor of addressing all of you on the 17th January perhaps, I tried to convey to you the three fundamental values that we are trying to inculcate in all your colleagues in the Shalville campus. We are talking about ability, which is just what I spoke to you about. We are talking about austerity. That public resources, public money, whatever resource is placed in our hand should not only be used sparingly, should be used in the most effective manner. Austerity. There are many variants of it, you will have to interpret it, but it is a kind of a mantra. Third is anonymity. Now, anonymity has many, many facets to it, which includes aspects of, I think, being very grounded, of not taking yourself too seriously, of knowing that you are a part of a large organization, that we are a part of a team, that finally it is all of us collectively who will achieve, who will succeed, who will prevail. So these are the three things that we are trying to inculcate, canvas in Mussoorie, and I believe all of you who came to the academy during your Himalayan trek would have seen some of these banners, would have seen this narrative going on, because it has been imbibed. And believe me, 103 days is a long time. It is not a short time. I have myself seen the phenomenal transformation that has happened in the case of all your other friends and colleagues in Mussoorie, and I am quite confident that all of you have in some manner, in large measures, have also transformed. I have no doubt in my mind, absolutely no doubt. In fact, as I was hearing, imbibing, and I did tell you I did not think of what to talk, I was recalling that this whole business of Common Foundation course started in 1959. Before that there was no Common Foundation course, but certain special things used to happen. And it might come as a bit of a surprise to some of us that between 1942 and 1946, the ICS training happened in Dehradun. Because of the war, you couldn't have exams in England, so recruitment would happen, but training used to happen in Dehradun. And several iterations of civil services, several iterations. If you see the old ICS civil list, you will find there are many ICS officers who had volunteered to go and fight and work in the army. They joined the army as second lieutenants, captains. Some of them laid down their lives. Some of them came back after the Second World War, rejoined the services. Thereafter, we had several iterations of special recruitments. It is typical, if you see the civil list, you will see a very interesting addendum. It is called EC/SSC. I don't know if you noticed it in any of the civil list. EC/SSC means Emergency Commission, Short Service Commission. So great men were recruited through this. In your own cadre, I mean not all of you are from this cadre, but where you are, I can think of two great names who came out of this stream. One is Captain MCRHRD, the hero of the entire DV cyclone. He was my boss also. Great man. You just have to step outside and ask about him, you will hear how a man with extraordinary experience, he was a captain in the army, he was from the Madras Sappers. And I remember and Sappers has a motto. The motto of Sappers is, bash on regardless. Okay, bash on regardless. That was the motto of his life. Captain MCRHRD, he lived a life like that. He did not allow his experience to stop his learning. This is the big conundrum, this is a big contradiction that happens in our lives. That we think that if you are experienced, you become better. honestly, if you are experienced, it reifies a lot of our past mistakes. Remember that. Sometimes experience will lead you in the wrong direction. So it is good to be experienced. It's good to know that something can happen, but that experience should teach you humility, that it is likely that you will be wrong. So, Captain SPL Mr. Durant, who is the Chief Secretary, again another ex-army man, he was from the Gorkhas, I think. So all these people are people of great experience. Some of you are. So therefore, I think not only do you have a lot to learn, and I'm sure not only have you learned here, you will also go back transformed. Have you been transformed? Yes, I'm sure you have been. I have no doubt about it. Each one will absorb in our own different way. In our own manner, what we need, we will absorb. You have learned that. See, the point of the foundation course is not to give you knowledge. It is not to give you skills. It is to tell you, give you a broad hint of what it is as a set of attitudes, what it is as a set of foundational values that are likely to hold you in good stead in your life and in your careers. And finally, I did mention that, I'm sure all your colleagues, all your senior faculty here have told you that foundation is also about building these deep bonds and bridges. Now these deep bonds and bridges mean what? Now some of you are from 2014, 15, 16. You may know and you may have experienced that conditions when you work in the real world are not ideal. When you're out there, you're looking for friends, you're looking for a friendly face, you're looking for somebody with a certain degree of sympathy. All of this comes from the relationships and the friendships that you make here. I go back to the common MCP program. We did two batches, 2000 and 2001. So in the evening I was walking. All of you would have walked that road from the main entrance to the reception. That's actually a great road. I'll tell you about it subsequently. But while I was walking around 9:15, there were these three very senior revenue service officers. Like I said, all of them were joint secretary level. So they were talking amongst themselves. They were saying, "Ye sab to theek hai, but what about disciplinary action? What about all the charge sheets that we are getting? What about the cases where we have to defend ourselves, etc., etc." It registered. I thought about it deeply, and the next day morning I took a special session for them. I told them something which I am going to repeat here. Normally I get bored by my own language, my own voice, so I cannot repeat myself, but maybe it is relevant, so I am repeating. I told them then the history of the British Army, there was only one instance where the British square was broken. Do you know how the British Army fights? Whenever they move somewhere, they move in a square. So you have a square that is formed, and this comes from Prince Philip. Prince Philip, he designed the square for the Macedonians, and that is how Alexander conquered it, because Prince Philip not only designed the square, he designed the lance that was 3 feet longer than the rest. So the square could move forward and keep on poking. So the square would never be broken. Okay. So the British square was the way in which the British Army always fought. There was only one instance when it was broken, and that was in the Boer War. I think it is called the Battle of the Isangdal War or something, IESLAN, where the Boers broke it for the first time and perhaps for the last time. But look at the conception, just think about it, think of the image. There is a square where everybody who is a fighting person is facing the outside. And what do they have inside? In the square? Each one has the back inside. So everybody is getting everybody else's back. Everybody is protecting the back of his colleague. It is only by protecting each other's backs that they could prevail. And if one person stops doing it, the square would break. This is the real lesson of a foundation course, that you have to have the back of each other. Of course, if somebody is immoral, somebody has done something outright illegal, naturally you should actually turn on that person and put him out, because that is one of the big problems of the bureaucracy today, that we are too tolerant. But that's an outlier. But the point I'm making is that all of you should learn that you have to, what is team building? Team building is this, that you get each other's back and that you are protecting each other and you are building these deep relationships. As you go forward in your life, in your career, you will meet a large number of obstacles, you will meet a large number of new situations, and I am quite sure some of you will come to Missouri. I met, in the current batch there are 2 officers, one officer has done 6 foundation courses, 6, and I salute him for his perseverance. And I met him, I asked him, did you learn anything? He said, yes, I have learned a lot. After the 6th foundation course, there are many who have done 4 foundation courses, 3 foundation courses. So my wife and I, we have always admired the perseverance of and sheer stamina of these officers, and I salute that, because ultimately the civil service job is about stamina, is about doing something that might look very, very obtuse, that might look something very, very boring, continuously at a very high standard. That is our job. And to find meaning in that, to find meaning in what we are doing, because it is that routine that keeps this country going. It is that routine that can never be allowed to slacken. It is in that meaning, in that routine, you will realize that growth is happening. Those sudden sparkles you see are those bright moments that happen in everybody's career. All of you will have it. I've had my share. Each one of us here have had our shares in our own different ways. And that is the beauty of the public service, because you get to do things where public will benefit. You will get a good name for simply doing your job, simply doing your job well, and you are getting paid for it. And this, our country is so great, citizens are so great, that they are grateful that we are doing a job that we have been recruited to do, and we are paid to do, very well paid, and still you get a great name. Where else can you get a job like this? Yes or no? And believe me, all of us in this room are extraordinarily lucky. When we step out, and all of you know it, I don't have to, and please don't take it like some kind of a lecture, but I'm trying to really talk to myself also. In the world outside, all our own colleagues, our younger colleagues, maybe people who studied with us, if we are engineers, I think 60% of your engineers, BTechs, 103 or 104 are BTechs. Would there be at least 10 of, amongst all your friends, would you not know at least 10 or 15 engineers who are currently employed in the private sector and who are getting wages that might be called barely enough? Isn't it? At least I know of civil engineers who are being recruited at a salary of 16,000 rupees a month. Yes or no? Doctors, MBBS doctors get 10,000 rupees. This is the way the current wage level is in this country. And we as probationers, we get 50,000 rupees, even before we have started delivering. So the privilege that we have is phenomenal. And all that we have to do is make sure that we do our diligent day's job well, and you will get fame, you will get gratitude, you will have a lot of self-respect, your children will be respected. Believe me, all of this will come back to you, all of it will come back to you. Do not discount what I am telling you, because this is what I have myself experienced. If you have done your job well, the respect you earn will be given to your children. I have seen it, and it happens. The contrary also happens. If there are children of let's say public servants who are not so diligent, they are not very well respected either. That's the way our society functions. So anyway, this is a lot of kind of uplifting kind of a talk, but I just wanted to tell you one thing, that be a lifelong learner. And secondly, I wanted to request the MCRHRD, because in the larger scheme of things, because when we were looking at the entire function of capacity, how do we ensure that the civil services can deliver to their task? How do we ensure that we are able to get the best maximum return for the investments we are making? We had the Mission Karma Yogi that has been rolled out. Now, Mission Karma Yogi, as most of you would have studied, I'm sure there are some questions that were there in your GS papers, some of you have written about it, is a Government of India program, primarily meant for the central government, eventually to be expanded. But ultimately, the public servants of India are spread throughout the country. In fact, that's one of the big mismatches of our bureaucracy. If you really see where services are delivered at the level of the citizen, the number of public servants are lesser, if you see the graph, and where services are not being delivered, you'll have more civil servants. For example, you will have lesser public servants in, let us say, municipalities, in, let us say, Zilla Panchayats, in, let us say, all the societies that are closest to the people, and larger numbers at maybe management levels, maybe supervisory levels, etc. There is a skewedness which has to be corrected. It is in the process of being corrected. But no matter that, what is important, and I wanted to request MCR Institute, because we are currently trying to build capacity within the states, where the states take on the responsibility of building and spreading capacity. And I am happy to tell you, a couple of years back, I think one of the greatest recent innovations, I wish you had put it up for PM's award, you would have got it, in capacity building of recent times, happened here in this institute. Mr. Singh was there, and Dr. B.P. Acharya. They conducted a very interesting program. The program was, we are picking up random samples, we are picking up, let us say, class 1, picking up class 2, 2 people from here, 20 people from there, and then putting together about 300 people and say, okay, let's try and build capacity. So the question was, what if instead of 1, you picked on an entire department from bottom to top? And this happened here in the state of Telangana, in the MCR Institute. If I remember my numbers correctly, when Dr. Acharya made this proposition, we were very happy to support it. I think it was 6,700 employees of the State Tribal Development Department, right? This was a super saturation. This was a super saturation effort, and in, I think, Christina was the commissioner. The impact, you should see the documentation, was phenomenal. I strongly urge MCR, because this is one of the best institutes of the country, and through MCR, I hope the state government of Telangana will take up and replicate this, because this was certainly a pilot, but this pilot needs to be replicated. So my request is that if this is picked up, this will become a template for the rest of the country. In You've even done an evaluation, the impact evaluation. All of this should be published properly, and so that it becomes available to the larger ecosystem. Very good. Excellent. So the point is, this is how we need to build and spread our capacity, because if we are not supported by able staff, then obviously we will not be very successful ourselves. I have taken more than 10 minutes of your time. It's almost 25 minutes. Thank you for your patient listening. All the very best. And I wish you great success in your careers, in your life. Please maintain a work-life balance. Two things have always guided my thinking. Number one, if you cannot do your job well within the office time, then you are no good. You are useless. Seriously. Please remember this. There are many so-called great officers who claim to be great because they are spending long hours in the office, harassing the rest of their colleagues, harassing their families, harassing themselves. If you see what they do during the office time, they are networking. So learn to finish your job during the day, during office hours. Not only will your office be efficient, but when you ask them to come out and step out, when they have to put extra time, they will not mind it. That's number one. Number two, there is always a big fear. I should share it, because you said foundation course. What will you do when you do foundation after you finish? One thing I always feared in my life is, if you really peak, if you reach the pinnacle, where the hell will you go? This is always a question that bothers me philosophically. So is there a pinnacle really? So I feel, initially I used to think, maybe we should stop slightly short of the pinnacle and then reach the pinnacle. You know, you're timing yourself. But now I realize with 32 years of hindsight that the pinnacle always keeps going forward. The bar is always getting raised. So keep pushing forward. As Reddy Sahab used to say, bash on regardless. All the best.
Sir, I would like to extend my gratitude on behalf of everyone, that reminding us of the Alvin Toffler's quote on learning. 21st century illiterate is not the one who can't write and read, but he is the one who can't learn, unlearn and relearn things. And hope this is a big takeaway from you. And your reiteration on Trinity of neutrality, austerity and ability is a big takeaway. And your explanation on quintessence of foundation course and the quintessential public service is another big takeaway from you, sir. Thank you so much for being very compassionate and having shared your knowledge with us. Now, let's all break this silence and have the exhilarating part of this function. Let's all have the presentation of awards for the excellent performance of the OTs. May I request all the dignitaries to please assume the center stage. The first announcement, Director General's Medal and Rolling Shield for highest aggregate marks. Any guesses? Aditya Mishra. Aditya Mishra IPS. And of course followed by Rajiv Ramesh Mishra and HS Bhavna. But of course Rolling Shield is given to only one. Director General's Medal for Best Performance in Sports goes to Srimati Bhavna Gupta, 2014 IPS officer. A Rolling Shield, Gold Medal and Certificate. And Ms. Bhavna, may I request you to please remain on the stage. Director General's Medal and Rolling Shield for Best All-Round Performance also goes to her. A big round of applause. Followed by Ankit Kumar, and big round of applause to Ankit, and Nityanand Jha too. Nityanand Jha too. That is second and third positions. Director General's Medal for highest marks in law, Shri Pushkin Jain, 2017 IPS. Highest marks in public administration, Shri Abhijit Jitendra. Director General's Medal for highest marks in Indian history and culture, Digvijay Sanjay Patil. 2019 Indian Foreign Service. Now gold medal for economics. Yeah, it's a group. Vishnu Kumar, Chandish, Ayush Notne, Shivendu Bhushan, Abhinav Tyagi. May I request all of you to come. Director General's Medal for highest marks in management and behavioral sciences, Shweta Suman, Ankur Tiwari. DG's Medal for highest marks in political concepts and Constitution of India, Shri Ankit Kumar. DG's Medal for highest marks in Hindi, Shri Hari Krishna Pai. He was worried about writing Hindi test because he was involved in FET also. Gold medal for Esprit de Corps, Shri Panduranga Gorakh, Sitanshu Pandey, Hari Krishna Pai, Vibhor Kandelwal. Now best village visit group presentations. May I request Abhishek Anand, Debjyoti Burman, Vibhor Kandelwal and Pavan Kumar Meena for grabbing the first prize, that is gold medal. Best group. And the second prize, joint winner silver medal, Kanwar Bhushan Singh, Hemant Singh, Swapnil, Arvind, District Warangal. And we have another group also, HS Bhavna, Chandish, Akshay, Shahjai, Shweta Suman. Actually, second prize is shared by two groups. Kunwar Bhushan, Hemant Singh, Swapnil, Arvind, Bhavna, Chandish, Akshay, Shahjai Manoj and Shweta Suman. Silver medal and certificate. Please, third prize, bronze medal, Debraj Das, Ramsundar, Sashi Shekhar, Saeed Fraz, Saurish, Gunjan, Prithvik. Now may I request Ankit Kumar, Shubham Arya, Anurag, Agrim Saini, Ankur Jain, Sanjit Kumar, Prasanna Kumari, Vikas Kumar, Vishnu Kumar, Kanika Sikriwal, Rajat Chaturvedi, Abhinav Tyagi, Subhanvita, Tejas, Ashwin, Kruti, Bharani to be ready please for Director General's Rolling Shield for Best Track Group presentation. Nature Lovers Club had been chosen as the best club among all the club activities. May I request Shri Ankit Kumar, Secretary Nature Lovers, and the members Varsha, Vishnu, Prashant and Shashikant to collect the rolling trophy. First best Fed stall, group leader Arun Kumar, second Pramod Kumar and third Ankush Vasan. Now may I request all the dignitaries to please be seated. Congratulations to all the winners, and now let's close this program by inviting Srimati Anita Rajendra, 1998 batch of IAS officer, who had significantly contributed as the adjudicator of many programs we have conducted. Ma'am, pleasure to have you. Please say some words of thanks.
First of all, I would like to thank our respected director from Labasna, Sri Srinivas Garu, for having coming all the way from Labasna in spite of his busy schedule, and not to say coming all the way to Hyderabad in this scorching heat, sir. I think while all the residents of this city are making a beeline to Mussoorie or Kulu or Simla, we brought you here at this point of time. Thank you for accepting our invitation and coming here, sir. I thank our DG, Sri Harpreet Singh Ji, who is a very able guide, and I think he took personal interest in everything in this entire training program. I thank my colleague Ben Harekka for his wonderful opening remarks. I thank the course director Divya and all other faculty members and all the staff who are involved in logistics, especially from administration and finance also. Last but not the least, I thank all the special foundation course participants who have made this course very, very lively, and your stay has been looked after very well, I hope so. And we enjoyed your stay here for the last 3 months. It's been a very pleasant and happy occasion for all of us to meet so many times all together, and it made us very, it made the entire premises very lively. It is normally said that if you mingle with youngsters, you also feel young, and that is how we feel at this juncture of our service and life, that we have become young like you, and we feel that you made us energetic and lively, and thank you for all that. I hope you have enriched yourself with knowledge and experience for the last 3 months. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for your great, successful careers ahead. Thank you so much for everything. Jai Hind. Good day.
I beg the pardon of the chief guest for an inadvertent miss, and it was only a slip, sir. May I request our DG to please present a memento in form of books and a stall to our chief guest as a mark of respect for his presence amongst us today. Have a best future and all the best, and let's close the program by rising for national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय